Something I hear all the time is that religion equals belief. You also see this in how some people interchange the word faith for religion, like faith-based organizations, or how people describe religions as belief systems. But religion is not just belief, it's also behavior, like ritual action, and it's also a communal sense of identity. So what does it mean to be religious, and why do we always assume that belief is the central component to religion? The idea that being religious primarily means believing in something actually stems from an old bias in the academic study of religion that privileges belief over action. Back in the 19th century, when scholars first started refining the academic study of religion, they studied other religions through the lens of Western Protestant Christianity. And in some Protestant Christian communities, belief is a big deal. The idea that we are saved through faith in Jesus Christ and not through good works. But it's not accurate to assume that personal faith is a central doctrine in every religion worldwide. But this is exactly what scholars did back in the 19th century, comparing religions like Hinduism and Buddhism in the mold of Christianity, minimizing the role of ritual in these religions in place of an idea that religion is just doctrine or belief or philosophy. Charles Harwick, for example, an Anglican scholar who wrote about Buddhism in the 1850s, purposely tried to distinguish between what he saw as true Buddhism on one hand, a metaphysical and social philosophy, and a corrupted Buddhism on the other hand, intermixed with old superstitions and rituals from East Asia. Now, of course we've come a long way in 150 years, but a lot of us still kind of think like Charles Harwick. But I'm here to tell you that we need a more sophisticated framework. Religion is not just belief, but it's also ritual and identity. One of my colleagues, Ben Marcus, uses a helpful acronym to complicate our view of religious identity: the 3B framework: belief, behavior, and belonging. Belief refers to theologies, doctrines, and holy texts, including social values and ethics that guide daily life. Behavior refers to religious rituals, as well as what Marcus calls religiously inflected habits and practices associated with daily life. A good example of this came out in 2017 when it was reported that the current Vice President Mike Pence doesn't eat dinner alone with another woman unless his wife was present. This so-called Billy Graham rule is not part of Christian doctrine and belief, but it's a religiously inflected behavior influenced by American evangelicalism. And finally, belonging, which refers to the sense of being part of a shared religious community that exists through time and across cultures. Belonging can also refer to the various racial, ethnic, and familial identities that inform and are informed by religious identities. So, for example, the political identity of being a citizen of Saudi Arabia is often associated with the religious identity of being Muslim. But you should never assume that these components are mutually exclusive. They mix into each other and play off each other. So, for example, you might assume a Christian attends church because they believe in one God Almighty and His Son Jesus Christ. The notion that belief drives belonging and behavior. But maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's their sense of cultural identity that keeps them coming back to church. That belonging drives behavior and belief. I like the 3B's framework, but there are other ones out there. Some scholars have a 4C's framework of religion: creed, code, cult, and community. But whatever rubric you want to use, the point of these frameworks is to understand the complexity of lived religion. Being religious doesn't necessarily mean cognitive assent to a generalized set of beliefs and doctrines. Being religious also means participating in religious rituals. It also means taking on a religious identity, and these don't always stem from belief. So let me share a few examples that Ben Marcus includes in his article. If belief and doctrine is the driving factor of religious identity, how can we explain that most American Catholics support the use of contraceptives and the ordination of women, contradicting the official Catholic doctrine on the issue? How can we explain that half of people who self-identify as Jewish are not entirely confident that they believe in a God? Or the fact that gender, age, race, ethnicity, and geographic region all affect religiosity in the United States. So if we want to understand religious identity, we need a more sophisticated framework that takes these other dimensions of religion into account. So next time you meet someone that says they are spiritual but not religious, ask yourself, what do they mean by religious? If you meet someone that says they work for a faith-based organization, you can ask yourself, do they mean religion instead of faith? You might be surprised to hear that religion encompasses a lot more than just what we think up in our heads. As always, thanks for watching.